Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the Transitional Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Elevating the Profession webinar from Rehab Essentials and Marymount University. I am Cheryl. I'll be one of your presenters today. Okay. And today's focus, we're really going to be spending some time talking a little bit about how the tOTD affects both the profession perception and presence, and really helps with the role identification within the profession. We'll talk a little bit about advancing the OT knowledge, the competencies and the practice, as well as professionalism, ethical standards, and care diversity. And towards the end, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about our program. I'm going to go ahead right now, though, and have our core presenters, the people you're here to see, because you're definitely not here to see me. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lynn, so she can introduce herself, and she can turn over to Dr.
Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Susan Lynn, and I am the program director for the OTD program at Marymount University. And just a little info about me. Currently, I am serving as a member of the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute's Clinical Trials Advisory Panel. I am also, excuse me, I'm also a mentor, reviewer, and ambassador for PCORI. And when I'm not busy, I volunteer for the American Congress of Rehabilitation Medicine, where I met Veronica, and I also volunteer for the Society for Participatory Medicine. I was the first research director at AOTA, and before that, I was practicing in pediatrics, and then I taught at Shenandoah University. I also was a past president of Pi Theta Epsilon, which is the Occupational Therapy Honor Society. And I'll turn it over to you, Veronica.
Thanks, Susan. Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica Rowe. I'm the Assistant Program Director for the tOTD program at Marymount University with Rehab Essentials. I have 24 years of experience as an OT in a lot of different areas. About half of my career was spent in clinical work in a variety of settings, mostly adult neuro rehabilitation of stroke and brain injury. And the other, about half of my career has been spent in academia and in research, teaching at the University of Central Arkansas and at Georgia State University. So I'm happy to be here with Rehab Essentials, where I am serving as Assistant Program Director. I also enjoy my research endeavors, which sort of began when I worked at Emory University and continue until today, where I collaborate with many different people across the country and continue to enjoy doing my research. So thank you for being here, and I'll pass it back to Dr. Lynn.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I'll just step in here just for a second. We are going to welcome all questions at the end of the session. Please just go ahead, and there's 3 ways you can do that. You can do that with the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. You can also raise your hand, or you can send a question via chat. So I will quickly turn that over to Dr. Lynn, not Mrs. Lynn, but Dr. Lynn, who's going to tell you a little bit more about elevating the profession.
Great, thank you, Cheryl. So when we're talking about elevating the profession, we're talking about building upon your entry-level education and then adding your professional experience and enhancing your growth to the expert level. So in terms of profession perception and presence and role identification, you can see this word cloud here that describes all the varied ways that OTs can practice. But in terms of profession perception and role identification, first, we think that we can further define OT's role through professional education, and we can really build upon OT's foundation and promote occupational therapy's distinct value, which I think is not known and appreciated enough in society. We could also deliver an active role within healthcare's evolving focus on primary care. And we can actually be integral partners on interprofessional teams. And so we work with a variety of health professions to deliver quality care. And we can also specialize in a number of areas, especially in the community. Now, our profession's presence can be very important in many ways. We can enhance our presence in interprofessional coordination, partnership, and leadership opportunities. We see that there is a trend in health-related professions to have a clinical doctorate. We see this in fields such as pharmacy, advanced nursing, physical therapy, and audiology, just to name a few. We also see that our fields affect each other because we may be working together and referring clients to each other and collaborating on initiatives such as quality improvement. Finally, the perception as an equal colleague is also beneficial for with positive benefits for clients. So clients will see us all having the same sort of base of knowledge. Now, we do see that Carnegie Foundation created a study. They did a study that looked at professions maturation, and higher level degrees such as a clinical doctorate were associated with autonomy and perceived power. And that makes sense because at the clinical doctorate level, you should have the ability to do certain things and enact them. So that helps to create an engaged leader. And we hope then that as an engaged leader, it helps you to reflect on and embrace responsibilities and other leadership roles. Now, there is the possibility too of taking your leadership to non-traditional areas. And so you're showing innovation when you do other things. I mean, there's the regular leadership opportunities through academia and program development, clinical research, and healthcare administration. We're seeing many more OTs become leaders in that area. Also, you might see leaders in nonprofit organizations and administrations, and even at the government level. So there are a variety of options to show leadership with an OTD. We're going to talk about how we can advance knowledge, competency, and practice. So we view education broadly, and we expect our students and alumni to be lifelong learners because things are always changing. And that is the one thing we can count on. Change is constant. And so by advanced knowledge, we mean that we will gain knowledge in such areas as evidence-based practice, You will be consumers of evidence-based practice, and then you will also enhance your competency in a number of areas, such as outcomes measurement and certain practice skills, such as assessment. And finally, we hope that you will refine your professionalism to make contributions to the field and advance practice for the future. We want to make things, always seeking betterment in the profession, and also, your skill set and your knowledge set. Now, expert level education, what does it provide you? It will help you connect advanced theory and research with practical clinical knowledge. It will help you influence the profession's best practices through research evidence, and that may help with delivery of collaborative care. Also, you'll be building on and enhancing your previous education level, so your master's level knowledge and skills. And we think that by creating a pathway for the clinical doctorate for licensed practitioners, we will, be able to advance the profession. So we do this by providing a schedule of courses that is very feasible, because it's asynchronous, so it's just on demand, and you can watch the lectures, do the assignments on your own time. Even discussion boards are asynchronous. So that's a definite plus for the busy working therapist. And it's also budget friendly, so it's affordable. We believe in providing the best value for the lowest price. We also think there's opportunities to apply what you've learned to the real world. And one of the ways you can do that is through a capstone project towards the end of the curriculum. And we think the capstone projects can provide a real impact. In terms of expert level skills and competency, we want to build upon your clinical experiences and add to that to create future leaders of the profession. So you might be interested in addressing clinical challenges, and taking on the complexities of the healthcare system and societal issues in the United States. I mean, we have many areas of need, and I think OTs can step up to the plate and address them. We can also help you develop and implement comprehensive interventions, and that will set you up for taking on a variety of roles in expanded settings. And hopefully some of you will be interested in contributing to clinical research and transformative innovation in practice. And finally, we envision our students to be the leading edge of future changes and challenges. There is so much we can do in population health and healthcare systems, especially during healthcare reform, because we all know our system doesn't work perfectly. And so there is talk at the health policy level about changes. And so we need to be at the table to make sure our voice is heard. Okay, next we are going to talk about professionalism, ethical standards, and care diversity. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Veronica Rowe.
Thanks, Susan. So elevating to the profession to an OTD means not just continuing to do the same type of professionalism, ethical upholding ethical standards and care diversity, but advancing it and really expounding upon it and bringing it to the next level. My hope is that all OTs, no matter what level you're at, are professional, are ethical, and provide care diversity. But with the OTD, we really hope to enhance that and recognize you for wanting to get that next level and become more even. So with that in mind, we hope that the OTD and our program promotes demonstration of professional behavior beyond that's just expected. I think of the ultra professional is the one that's self-directed, somebody that really wants to do more, go the extra mile, think outside the box, really, and do it as a self-directed practice or self-motivated individual that wants to go above and beyond what's required. It's somebody that invests in themselves as well as the profession. By getting your OTD, you don't have to, but you're wanting to, you're choosing to go that extra mile, which just helps our profession as a whole as well. Again, we hope that all OTs practice according to ethical principles. We all should be ethical, but the person with a doctorate OTD or a doctorate in OT should go above and beyond that part and not only treat patients ethically and conduct themselves in an ethical way, but encourage that among others, provide mentorship to students and colleagues and showing how to be ethical. We also want that person that has an OTD to support diversity in every way, shape, and form, but not just to support it and go along with it, but to possibly be a leader in really developing it through educational practices, organizations, and in all types of settings. The OTD is really somebody who should be a leader and assume power that will help benefit clients of diverse backgrounds, and again, go that extra mile and really be the outstanding, extra good therapist. So again, we want to this person that has an OTD to continue that leadership in a variety of ways. We want the OTD to be ethical and accept power, assume that leadership role in ethic arenas and further them. Also assuming a leadership role in policy as well as advocacy for our clients and for our profession. Helping in a leadership role in theory development and implementation, as well as research. And in both of those, you can provide so much above and beyond just the day-to-day working to really advance them in a lot of different ways. Leadership can also be found in advocacy for healthcare, for social policies of both what's near you in the state, around you in the nation, and globally in the world. We hope that the OTD does develop, is always the lifelong learner and continues to practice and work in scholarly inquiry. So in research, there's so many ways that you can contribute to research. You don't have to always be the principal investigator of a research study. By contributing your knowledge, your experience, helping collect data, talking with others about research, disseminating findings that you have, can really help advance the profession as well. And then finally, mentorship. We want to mentor those new students coming in, as well as mentoring others in other professions as much as you can to enhance our occupationally centered profession and our education among them. So many ways that you can advance and elevate our profession with an OTD through leadership, through advocacy, competency. And the beauty of the tOTD program is that it combines that foundational knowledge that you have with your professional experiences at that expert level. Again, it goes above and beyond the basics to an expert level, and it helps you to develop your leadership, your competencies, and be able to contribute not only to reaching your goals, but to elevating the entire profession. And with that, I will pass it to Cheryl, who will give you some specifics about our tOTD program, degree program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lynn and Dr. Rao. Very, very informative. I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about the tOTD degree program and what it means. So one of the very first questions we always get is, as a post-professional degree, what does the transitional mean? And what the transitional really means is that it's people who are transitioning from a master's level education to a doctorate level education without having to basically redo the courses they already took as a master's level. When we look at the program as a whole, I think Dr. Lynn and Dr. Rowe both pointed out how we try very hard to make our program feasible and easy for people who are already working. So we really did work hard to design our program for the practicing occupational therapist with the understanding that we're really trying to balance work, life, kids, school, all of it at once. So you continue working while you're getting your degree so that there's no pause really in your career while you're trying to advance your career. The program is 100% online and it is asynchronous. And what that really means is that you can take the courses on your schedule and you can do that 24/7, basically. You have access to your lessons basically wherever you are. From day one, you have about 90% of the content downloaded immediately. And what that allows you to do is work in your own time, at your own pace, so long as you meet the basic course deadlines. So if you have, for example, a vacation somewhere during the semester, you can plan your work around that vacation without missing a beat, still able to have your life and balance it with your desire to elevate yourself. The program itself is designed also to be completed in 5 semesters, which works out to about 20 months on a calendar, on a calendar from January to February. No, sorry, January to December. And what that really means is based upon where you start, sometimes a 20-month shift because of holidays, simply all that works out. And then as terms as the budget, I think that Dr. Lynn talked about that a little bit. We have a heavy focus on making sure that there's a good value for you. You are definitely investing in yourself. We understand that's something that you're doing optionally. You want to help elevate the profession, and we want to help you do that as well. And so we focused on various ways that we can help drive down the tuition. And so our total tuition for the program is $14,550. And so that's the total tuition. There's a variety of ways in which that can be paid, but that way it helps you be able to manage that within your budget. So now you can manage both your schedule and your budget while you're trying to get the doctorate. In terms of our faculty, the nice part about being 100% online and working with Marymount University and Rehab Essentials is that you have access to experts from all over the United States. So that's really nice. Not to say that our university in your neighborhood doesn't have experts, but we do get to choose the best and the brightest, as you've seen tonight already with Dr. Lynn and Dr. Rowe. So the nice part about that is you also have the ability to have connections with them through the chatting systems, through discussion boards. You have the ability to talk to them through course forums. There's a lot of different ways that you can talk to those expert faculty members to make sure that you're getting the best out of your education. And then you can also combine that with the modern learning experience that you're going to be going through. We make sure that we constantly are updating our courses, not only for content, but we're also looking to make sure that we're following the best online learning practices so that what you're seeing and what you're getting is going to make it easiest for you. And then lastly, one of the other things we wanted to make sure you still experienced was the ability to network with other OTs. And this will give you the ability to network with people from all over the US, because as you participate in your courses, some of your courses may require you to have a course forum discussion or comment on other people's work or various activities that will help you build that network and help you form some relationships that will hopefully help you as you become an advocate and a mentor. In terms of the program, our program is accredited. And so accreditation is one of the things that's kind of hard for people to understand. There's a lot of confusion about it. First and foremost, a coach does not accredit post-professional degrees. They only accredit entry-level degrees. And so what they're really looking for is, how do we help people who are not OTs today become OTs? And instead, the post-professional degree is focusing on people who already are practicing OTs, and they're just looking to advance their education. And so when we look at doing that, what happens is the regional bodies become the accrediting folks. And in particular, our program runs, as we've noted, through Marymount University, and they are accredited through SACS. And so what that means for you is, if you were to want to pursue your PhD, or you're wanting to pursue your EDD, you would be able to get a transcript that indicates you've taken courses that are accredited, and therefore you'd be able to apply those to those higher level degrees. In terms of just generally speaking, you've heard pretty much the whole conversation. I don't need to talk about this much, but really we're looking at gaining those critical thinking skills that really help you apply every day. And the nice part about it, and they alluded to it earlier, is you get to do that while you're still working. So you can take things you learn from Dr. Lynn's theory course, and you can apply that already as you're practicing. So you don't have to wait to start applying your knowledge. You do it right away. So the program itself, we do want to note, is completed in a sequence. So you will take it, like I said, in a 5-semester sequence over 20 months. During that period of time, you will pay your tuition within a semester as well. And then Marymount also does payment plans. And so this will also help you with your budget. So it'll help break it into smaller pieces and segments. Just like we do with our courses, we do it with our tuition. Overall, the program is going to be 30 credits, and that cost again is $14,550. And what that breaks down to is $485 per credit. To give you an idea of what that looks like from a competitive landscape, a lot of the OTD programs and the post-professional programs are going to be closer to $800 to a credit, to up to $1,500 per credit. At least that's what we've seen here. So hopefully this value helps you understand that. The other thing that I do want to note really quickly, and I'm sorry, I just got off track. I got so excited about talking about the program. We do have our fees also listed as $225. So that includes basic things like applying. That includes your proctoring fees. So we are required federally to have a proctoring service that will provide exams that are honest, integrity, ethical, all those great things that we know you guys are going to do. We don't have to worry about it, but we do have to provide that. The only thing missing off our chart right now are books, essentially, and that's because that varies. So in terms of how you get your books, we'll tell you what you're looking for, but we don't require that you purchase it through the bookstore. So you can go to Amazon, you can go to a previous student, you can do it any way you like to obtain those materials. And that really helps also keep your costs down, because it helps you get those in a more cost-effective manner. And then lastly, we know that OT had made the move from a bachelor's to a master's degree. So we do know that there are folks out there who have a bachelor's degree, and they're looking for a way to also earn their doctorate degree. And what we've done is we've partnered with Marymount to help you have a bachelor's to master's program. And what that entails is SACS requires that a doctorate level program has a minimum of 30 hours of graduate level courses in order to be entered into the doctorate program. So what we do there is we have you go ahead. There's 5 different pathways that Marymount has created to help you go from that bachelor's level to that 30 credit level. In some instances, you'll be able to get a master's, and others you'll be able to get certificates that you might like as well. So what that looks like is pretty easy, but you'll have it between 30 and 36 credits, depending upon which pathway you take. And then after you've completed that, you're automatically entered to go into the OTD program. There's also the potential for some of the pathways to credit back 6 of your OTD hours to those pathways. So it'll help you also with the budget, because you won't have to pay for those 6 credits twice. And then from an application process, again, I know we said it a lot tonight, but we do want to make it easy and quite feasible. because we know that you are professionals who are already working, we know you've already had an academic degree that's beyond that BS level for the most part. What we're looking for is really simple in terms of your application. We don't need the references. We don't need an essay, because we know you're here to invest in yourself. And so all we're really looking for is a copy of your official transcripts for your previous master's, bachelor's degrees, and then, whatever it looks like from those accredited universities. And then the other piece that we'll need is just a copy of your US occupational therapy license. Now, if for some reason you do have your original education from a foreign institute and then you came to the US, we still will need your official transcripts. We'll still need a copy of your current US license. The other piece that we will need, just one additional step really, is making sure that we get an academic equivalency document from a NACIS or an ACIS approved member institution. And so that really is just making sure that your masters are apples to apples with the US masters. And that about wraps up what the program looks like. So we're going to pause here for a moment and take any questions that we have. Okay, Susan and Veronica. It looks like our first question is going to focus on the capstone. And basically, they're actually wanting to know a little bit more about what the capstone process looks like and how they're chosen.
Okay, well, the capstone, we have 2 courses in the last 2 semesters. Capstone 1 is the planning and design of the capstone. And capstone 2 is implementing and writing up the results and disseminating the capstone. So it makes it much more feasible, and you will have a capstone advisor to guide you through the process. As far as capstone topics, it can vary. It can range from say you're interested in academia, so your capstone could be education related, or it could be practice. Maybe you've got a new protocol you try with great results and you want to collect some more data and write it up as clinical research. So it can be a number of things. It could even be advocacy related or program evaluation. So there's a wide variety of choices, and you can work with your capstone advisor to talk about your ideas.
Thank you, Dr. Lynn. We do have another question here, and it's specific to the program. They say, thank you very much for sharing information about how the OTD is going to be able to help elevate the profession. And you talked a little bit earlier about looking at education broadly. Does that mean that your program does not offer the opportunity to specialize?
We don't have tracks. I know some programs offer like a pediatric track or a geriatric track. And so we're a kind of a generalist program, and there are opportunities along in certain courses where you can pick a topic of your interest and still personalize kind of your learning in that regard. But everyone takes all the courses, so we don't have electives or specialization tracks.
And if I can expound upon that and the previous question, we do promote a generalist, advanced generalist within our program. And the capstone project that you pick that after approval is based and is a culmination of everything that you've learned within the courses. And that's where, you could possibly focus a bit more on a specific topic or interest that you have. Staying within the areas of clinical practice skills, research skills, administration, leadership, program and policy development, advocacy, education, or theory development. So again, you graduate as a generalist, but your capstone can be a bit more focused into an area of your interest.
Wonderful. Well, it is 40 after, and I think we've about used up our time for this evening. I do want to really quickly to just share some of our contact information and thank everybody for attending our webinar tonight. Hopefully you got your questions answered. However, if you have additional questions, please feel free to email us at info@rehabessentials.com and we can get you hooked up with one of our experts who's on the call today. Not necessarily me, but definitely Dr. Lynn or Dr. Rao. And also, please feel free to check out our program on marymount.rehabessentials.com. We will hang out for a couple more minutes here and answer any additional questions. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you. We do have another webinar in our series coming up, and that is going to be speaking specifically to the why earn a tOTD. So please take a look for that on our website as well. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you in the future.